Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to run you through the 4-step process to build your dream physique and exactly how to get you from point A to point B. I'm going to do my best to tackle the things that I know you guys struggle with. I talk to you guys a lot and I take notes on every conversation that I have, whether it be a 5-minute conversation or an hour-long conversation with whomever it may be. I've done my best to compile the common issues that you guys face. A lot of it has to do with the mentality shift. Sometimes it's like actionable things like, oh, what am I supposed to eat? So in this video, I'm going to go into every single thing and do my best to address all the issues that I've noticed the majority of you guys face. So without further ado, let's switch over to my computer where we will go through every single thing. And of course, if y'all have any questions, if there's anything I didn't address, if there's anything that you need help with that's specific to you, because this will be a bit broad, drop in the comments below or DM me on Instagram, and let's get right into it. Alright guys, like I mentioned, I want to say at the beginning of every single video, do hard shit, do the things that you say you're going to do, stop convincing yourself to go back into your comfort zone, and get freaking after it, alright? You have goals you want to reach, stop coming up with excuses, chase them, do what needs to be done, and put in everything that you got. Either go all in or do not go at all. Get right into the method of how to build your dream physique. Let's do this. So first, establish your goal. Okay, this all boils down to dream physique, losing weight. Right? I talk to you guys a lot. Everyone is, I want to lose weight, I want to do this, I want to do that. No, you do not, okay? Because I've weighed 150 before. I weigh 150 something now and some change. Two totally different body compositions. Right? So if I have the whole mentality of I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight, probably wouldn't be where I am today, right? So we need to assess really what is the goal. And I've noticed after talking to a lot of you guys and taking all those notes and seeing how y'all feel and trying to get a grasp of what you guys really want, it is your dream physique, right? It's your dream body. It's a muscular, toned build. It can vary person to person, but generally people want more muscle, less fat, okay? That comes with losing fat, not losing weight. Losing weight is eating less. If you're here to lose weight and eat less and just be smaller than you are now, exit the video. This is not for you. Go control your portion sizes and just simply eat less of whatever you're eating right now, right? That'll do the trick. So once you establish the goal of what it is that you want, and the more specific you get, like with timelines, actual strength goals, training goals, athleticism goals, whatever it may be, once you make those clear and concise as possible, easier the path to get there will be. If it's very broad, like I want to lose weight, what the fuck are you going to do with that? Like, I want to lose X amount, or I want to lose this amount of fat and build this amount of muscle. I want to look a certain way, or I want to do this by X timeline and have this, or feel this way, or be able to lift this, or be able to run for this long. Whatever the goal is, just as specific as it can get, because that gives you more actionable steps to take towards it, right? The more specific your goal is from the beginning, the easier it's going to get to navigate there because you're going to have more metrics to keep track of. Part 1 of the 4-step process. Now, this 4-step process is called SAIL. S-A-I-L. I coined it that because not only is it the acronym for, exactly what I'm implementing, but also because, in a way, when you work with me one-to-one, it's like a sailboat. We are both in charge. If neither one of us do our parts, we're not going to get anywhere. We're just going to be stuck sitting there. That's essentially how I came up with it. Now that I think about it, might be a tad corny, but it's okay because at the end of the day, it works. It's worked for my clients. I use it on myself. It works for me. People that have watched my videos have it for themselves, and it has worked. Number 1, the S. The S stands for set habits. Now, who are you? What is your life? What does your life look like? What is it that you don't like? If matter is made up of atoms, your life is matter, and atoms are your habits. You are a direct result of what your habits are. If you have a habit of sleeping in, eating something in excess, doing whatever it is you do compounds over the entirety of your life and will be reflected in your mindset, the way that you look, the way that you live, your lifestyle, right? So when you want to make a change, the easiest, clearest path to making that change is seeing what do I do every day? What is something that I've done day in and day out for the last 30, 60, 90 days for my whole damn life, whatever it may be, right? And another thing before, I don't want to get off the tangent, but I just want to say, habits that you've been doing for 30 days, 90 days, or your whole damn life are not going to be reversed in 2 weeks. Some of you guys want this quick progress when, it took you your whole life to get there, or X amount of years, X amount of weeks, months, whatever, right? But you want progress within 24 hours. Get serious, get so freaking for real. You need to lose that mentality, because if that's how you think, if that's how you plan to stay thinking, scroll. Exit the video. This is not for you. I'm not for you. You don't need to be watching my videos, okay? You look at your habits. You're going to have good ones, unless you're absolutely terrible. Like, you're going to have good ones. Those good ones, we need to push forward. Okay, you wake up at the same time every day. Perfect. You have consistency, right? You get up when your alarm goes off and you don't snooze it. Perfect. That's already a small win. So whatever those are, keep pushing them. Keep pushing them forward. Keep propelling them. Congratulate yourself. Keep them as little wins. Use them to build your confidence, right? Then we look at the bad things. Okay, Something happens in your life and you feel negative emotions and you rot in bed all day because you can't handle it. That's a negative habit. Or you go and get a drink or you go smoke a blunt. Not saying that drinking or smoking a blunt is bad. In excess, of course, anything is bad. But if you do those because you can't cope with stress, negative emotions, when life gets hard, all those kinds of things, that is a negative habit, right? Deconstructing the negative habits. For example, what that looked like for me, when I got stressed, I would binge eat or I would go get drunk, right? And I would just be like, instead of being like, oh, I'm just having fun, like, or oh, I'm just hungry. I wasn't hungry, I was stressed. And I was not just having fun. I didn't want to be sober because I was stressed the fuck out. I never sat there and looked 2 steps behind the bad habit and being like, okay, why do I want to get drunk so badly? Why am I eating the entire bag of chips when I'm not even hungry, right? Or if it was due to, sadness, a breakup, a tough time, whatever dopamine hit I was trying to get instantaneously instead of sitting there and unpacking the hard emotional side of things. Right? That's what you're gonna have to do: deconstruct the bad habits and propel the good ones forward. That leads to implementation. This is going to be hard if you don't have a coach to guide you through it, but it's not impossible and you can definitely do it because I've done it. It's just hard to do it when you are the only one there for you. But when you implement these habits, it's going to be hard, right? So now when you begin to start building your dream physique, you start looking at what you eat, you start tracking your training and implementing structure, you start looking at sleep, water, stress, all those things. I just listed 5 things, and that's not even going into the deep, dark details of things. That's just 5 broad things. That's a lot going at someone at once. At the beginning of your fitness journey, you're not going to have mental fortitude, you're not going to have discipline, you're not going to have consistency, you're going to be at the very beginning, right? So it's going to be hard to handle all those habits without that mindset, right? Because the discipline, the consistency, the mindset to be great kind of comes as you fail more and more throughout this process. So at the beginning, it's going to be the hardest to keep going. When you come to implementation, I recommend doing some habit stacking, right? So first we're going to start with nutrition, then we're going to start with training, then we're going to slowly stack them on top of each other, and then we're going to be able to do it all at once, right? You got to get in your routine. You got to get in the swing of things. It's not easy, right? This is the hardest part here because you're not disciplined. You don't have anything. You don't have any progress yet to be like, I know this works, right? So you're going to have to keep getting up every time you fall down. Don't even worry about making progress. Just worry about being consistent. Did I do the 5 things that I just listed today? And keep at it until you're able to do it and it's not something you have to think about and becomes your routine. And those habits have now formed, right? It becomes a habit, right? You're not going to wake up and do the 5 things and boom, it's a habit. You're going to go at it every single day for 30 days, 60 days, whatever it is, and then it will become habitual, right? After that, I just kind of discussed it without scrolling. I need to zoom out a little bit so I know what's next before I get into it. So what did it look like for my clients? Were they consistent? If not, we go back to the drawing board and see, okay, what changes need to be made? If this is you, if you're struggling to be consistent, something, and it happens day in and day out, there's a reason. There's something going on. So instead of continuing to try, figure out what it is that's making you be inconsistent. Do you not like your food preferences? Because there's a million different things that you could program, right? You don't have to sit there and eat chicken and veggies. So go back to the drawing board, make changes. Do you not like walking on the treadmill? Implement a better form of cardio that you find more enjoyable. There are changes that you can make. Or sit down, look in the mirror and be like, all right, you need to lock in, you're lacking discipline. It's one or the other. It's either there's a change you can make or you just need to be honest with yourself and have a real heart-to-heart either with yourself. It looks like for me with my clients, I'll be like, hey, look, we got to lock in. It's tough. It's hard. It's going to be like, I wish it was easier, but at the same time, I don't because this hard shit is making you better and it's doing what it needs to do and it's acting on you as you act on it, right? As much as I wish it was easier for them, I also don't because this is the whole fucking point. It's not like at the end of the day, the muscles, the physique, that's really not what matters at the end of this. There has to be something more fulfilling than that. So after that, we just go over here. Is like discipline or real changes need to be made, like I just said. And then usually this cycle happens until you get it down, and then you're able to say you're consistent, and then you move over to yes, right? Then we accelerate fat loss. So if you're skinny fat, obese, overweight, whatever it is, unless you're just plain skinny, then that doesn't apply to you. But if you're any of these things, or by definition, you have fat to lose, put yourself in a caloric deficit. You can easily look up TDEE calculator, total daily energy expenditure calculator on Google, and put in all the questions that to ask, all those factors, right? If you have your body fat percentage, that'll be very beneficial to help you get a better range. It's going to give you a number of your caloric maintenance. That maintenance is a range, right? So it's not going to tell you exactly because it's something that's very, very hard to calculate and it's different for almost every single person. Once you get that number, put yourself into a calorie deficit, right? Now, I recommend making sure that you don't put yourself in too steep of a deficit, all right? I recommend maybe 300 to 400 calories. Any more than 5 and you're pushing it, that's going to be hard to sustain, okay? You're going to be lethargic. You're going to be tired. Also going to eat away at your muscle mass the steeper the deficit that you're in. So keep all those things in mind. If you're a little bit more skinny fat, I would go on the lower end of the deficit. When it comes to putting yourself in a deficit, you want to make sure that not only are you prioritizing your protein, I don't want your entire diet to be comprised of protein. You want to make sure that you have a good ratio of each macronutrient to each other. That's going to look different depending on your lifestyle, how you are as a person, man or woman. Like, make sure you're prioritizing your protein and making sure that you're hitting your fat levels on a day-to-day basis. So making sure that you hit all 3 macronutrient goals, right? Making sure that you're getting enough protein, enough carbs, and enough fats. In the broad scheme of things, put yourself in a calorie deficit, hit your protein, and don't neglect fat. After we accelerate the fat loss, now we get to the increased muscularity phase. Now, the increased muscularity phase can go 2 different ways, right? If you're pretty overweight, you're going to be in this deficit. Eventually, you're going to plateau. That's because the calories you're eating will become your new maintenance as you start to lose the weight. After that, you can either continue to go down if you still have a considerable amount of fat to lose, so put yourself in another deficit and continue to get leaner, or if you've reached your desired leanness or you've reached the threshold to which you can handle losing weight and you become lethargic and tired, you can start reversing out of that. There's 2 separate options, but both of those will lead to longevity. But before we get into longevity, more fat loss, to lose just means putting yourself in another deficit, right? Still making sure that we're keeping those macronutrient ratios consistent. Or if we decide we've reached our desired leanness or we've reached the threshold at which we can handle, adding about 100 to 200 calories every week to 2 weeks, still keeping that same macronutrient ratio. Now that'll lead us into longevity. This is the part where we've lost a considerable amount of fat and we have a good base to now build lean muscle mass on so that we have that toned physique. Don't go crazy and start dirty bulking or whatever, because then it becomes adverse to your goals, right? The more fat or unnecessary fat that you put on, the less athletic you get, the more endurance you lose, and it makes it harder for you to train efficiently like an athlete. And the whole point of adding on this extra food and all these extra calories is to give you the energy to build muscle, right? So that you can have that lean, toned physique. I want to say that if you are 150 pounds, you lose the fat, you become 140, 135, whatever. This is random. Take it with a grain of salt. And then you build the muscle back up and you get back to 150, but it's of lean muscle mass over a few years. 2 same body weights, totally different body composition. That is exactly what happened in my case, and that is what's going to happen if you do this. And remember, guys, you're in this for the long game. Okay, this is a marathon. It's not a quick little 5K. If you're in it for the 5K, again, you probably would have scrolled out of this video quite long ago, because that's not what this is about. Anything worth it, anything fulfilling is going to be hard. It's going to take a while, and it's going to take day in and day out dedication and relentlessness. Longevity phase is just keeping up with those habits, keeping up with the same nutrition principles. I'm not saying don't have cheat meals. I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself, but understanding the macronutrient ratios and making sure you hit your protein goals to continue to build muscle, making sure you hit your carb goals to make sure that you have sustained energy to put on that muscle, using fats to regulate your hormones, your moods. I don't ever recommend neglecting any macronutrient group. I know that there are coaches out there, other training programs that will simply cut out carbs or even cut out fats just to make it less calorically dense. I will never recommend that, because fats and carbs are very important to building your dream physique, as well as your overall health, the way that you feel, the way that you think, and your overall quality of life. If there's anything that I didn't address, please leave it in the comments down below. If you have any questions or want more specific answers to your case, DM me on Instagram and I would be more than happy to help you. I love you guys so much, and I will see y'all in the next one.